The Ketchikan Community Concert Band is a group of local musicians who enjoy making music together, performing music together, and learning music together. We have 2 performances each year, typically one in the fall, one in the spring, and we're gearing up for our spring concert here, 2024. A symphony orchestra has strings, cellos, violins, violas, string basses. You typically don't see string instruments in a concert band. We're the brass, the woodwinds, and the percussion. You got trumpets, trombones, euphoniums, tubas, flutes, clarinets, saxophones. That's something you don't always find in a symphony orchestra. A saxophone, that's typically more often found in a jazz band or a concert band. Some pretty significant differences there in the ensembles. The band is made up of an intergenerational group of people. You've got people who have been playing in this band since it was founded in 2002, who were, many of them graduated K-High while Roy McPherson was directing, the K-High band. And he wound up starting the band here, the concert band, in 2002, to people who've recently graduated high school. In fact, we have one member who is still in high school, a student, playing French horn with us. So it really is a multi-generational ensemble. I am the musical director for the Ketchikan Community Concert Band. Took up the baton in 2019. That means I coordinate the music that will be on the program, kind of make the decisions of what music we'll play. It means I rehearse the ensemble. We rehearse once a week on Mondays, and kind of get to really dive into the nuts and bolts of the music. Somewhat of an educational role. I like to provide some kind of music education along with the rehearsing aspect, and then of course I wave the baton and keep everyone together, and I make the musical decisions on behalf of the ensemble, and that way everyone can kind of look up to one unified kind of direction to give that the mood of the music. The theme is a Hollywood pops. So we're exploring film music from some of our favorite blockbuster films. Of course, you're thinking John Williams, Star Wars, Howard Shore, Lord of the Rings, Michael Kamen. He's a composer who wrote the score for Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which is a fun, nostalgic one for those of you who saw it. And Pirates of the Caribbean as well is on the program. So those exciting, action-packed Hollywood films. It's access to classical music nowadays for anyone who, say, didn't go to school for music. You're hearing it through film score. This is the most modern version of what has been quintessentially the classical form of like a large ensemble, orchestral, monophonic instruments that are, together to form one larger sound. One can go to a symphony if you're in a city, Seattle, San Francisco, New York, and hear these big sounds, but there's so much more access in the theater to see these films and have them be accompanied by truly extraordinary musical writing. So with film music, it's complicated. It is quite challenging. If you're familiar with anything John Williams wrote, there's a lot to do with rhythm. And that's something that we really focused on in our rehearsals here, is making sure that some of these, what we call polyrhythms, rhythms that are multiple different rhythms that are occurring at the same time, that make for that kind of the action of the music. Think of course, there's probably no more famous theme than the Imperial March, and you have the main theme, dum 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 da dum, but behind it you have ba 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 bum, ba-ga-da-ba, ba, 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 bum, ba-ga-da-ba. And things like that happening at the same time create the tension that is in that motive. I think that my draw to these pieces has to do with nostalgia of growing up with these, not only these films, but also having had the scores in a cassette tape or a CD, and just listening to the soundtrack to Star Wars. And as a kid, I didn't have to watch it to know what was happening. I could listen to the score and know exactly what was happening in the movie at that given point. So, relaying, I think, the nostalgia and the joy of film music is the goal. For the bulk of this program, the music itself, that's the wonderful power of music, is that I think anyone who's seen these films is going to have a hard time listening to this music and not thinking of a particular scene or a character or even an emotion attached to some of these themes. But our program may have a few surprises in the way of a character or two showing up to provide that real-time nostalgia. Anyone who's lived here for any amount of time knows that the arts are a big deal in Ketchikan, and music is no small part of that. Not only does this town have the Ketchikan Community Concert Band, but we also have the Ketchikan Chamber Orchestra. We have various small groups, Hannah, Chaz, and Dave, and the Gateway Trio. All variations from classical music to, marches in a band or jazz. Music just kind of keeps bubbling up in this town. It's been alive since well before I was around, and it keeps, as Ketchikan does, it keeps kind of rejuvenating itself.